So in this part, we are going to take a look at how we can get data from the user using the scanf function and the other functions that we use when we are getting data from the user. Okay, so you need to know that the main function we use for input in C is the scanf function. Okay, and it is part of the STD, the standard input output library. Okay, so it looks like this, scanf, like that. Okay, so the name stands for scan formatted. Okay, this name, it stands for scan formatted. Okay, F is for formatted and the scan. Okay, scan formatted, and this one allows us to read values typed by the user and store them in a variable, and it is part of the standard input output library. Okay, so because of that, let us include it using the preprocessor directive, which is #include, like that. Okay, so we include it like that, then as std standard input output header file.h. Okay, like that. Okay, so here we need to end our line like that. Okay, like that. So here let me show you the basic syntax for using the scanf function. Okay, so here you can pass in like so. Here you can pass in the format specifier. Okay, format specifier, like that, and here you need to pass in the variable. Okay, the address to the variable. Okay, so this one we use to get the address to that variable. We use the ampersand, then the name of the variable, like that. Okay, ampersand and the name of the variable. Okay, so the ampersand gives us the memory address of the variable, so the scanf knows where to store the value. Okay, so let us take a look at how we can read an integer. Okay, so to read integers, let us create a variable here and we name it age. Okay, like that. Okay, so we are not going to initialize, we are not going to give it a value. Okay, we are just going to initialize it like that. So after that, we are going to come here, and here we are going to access to get its address. Okay, like that, using the ampersand, then the name of the variable. And here, because we are expecting this one to be an integer, this one is an integer, we are going to use the %d. Okay, like that. Okay, like that. So after doing that, then we are going to output our information. Okay, so here, before we do that, we are going to tell the user to print out this message, enter the age, like that. Okay, like that. So after doing that, then we are going to come here and then we get the age. Okay, we get the age from the user, so the user is going to insert the age. Then after there, we are going to print the age using the printf. Then here we need to pass in the format specifier. So here we want to output our age. Okay, our age, like that. So after doing that, let us save, and then we open the terminal. You can just come here, right here, and then you click, and then terminal, then new terminal. Okay, and this terminal will come out. Okay, so here you should note that I'm using PowerShell. Okay, I'm using PowerShell. So if I'm using PowerShell, if you are using CMD, just type PowerShell. Okay, like that, and press enter, and then you will be in PowerShell. Okay, if you are on Windows, and if you are on Linux, just stay with me. The commands that I'm using are going to work, okay, for you. So if I press ls, as you can see, we have our file. It is there, home.c, and we can create our exe file. So we are going to press gcc, then the name of the file, home.c, and then the output using -o. Then the output is going to be the output. Let us make it to be home.exe, like that. Okay, so we are going to press enter. After pressing enter, our file is going to be compiled. Our code is going to be compiled, and then we are going to generate an exe file. Okay, so to run that file, we are going to press // then the name of the executable, which is home. Okay, and then you press enter. After pressing enter, as you can see here, they're telling us to enter the age. Okay, so if I zoom, as you can see, enter the age. So the age, let us enter 15, and when we press enter, as you can see, we get the output of the age, which is 15. Okay, so let us now take a look at how we can read a float or a double. Okay, to read a float or a double, we do like this. Let me zoom out a little bit. we can come here, right here, and then we create our float. This one we change it to be for a float like that, and this one let us make it to be pi. Let us rename it to be pi. So here enter the pi, we can enter the pi. So here we can use, instead of using D, we are going to use F, which is the format specifier for the floating numbers. Okay, so there we use pi. Okay, then here we want to output our pi. Okay, like that. If we save and then we come here, we compile, and then after compiling we run our code like that. So here we enter the pi, it is 3.14. As you can see, you get this output. Okay, so you should note that here, as you can see here, okay, right here, we are getting this sort of thing. Okay, this one. Okay, it is the one that we are getting out. Okay, so we should use the percentage f. You should note that here we are using the percentage f, but here we made a mistake. Okay, and we are using the one, there's format specifier for integers. Okay, so here we must change it to be f, like that, and we can format it to be to 2. Okay, so to 2 decimal places. Okay, like this one, 2f. Okay, to be to 2 decimal places, like that. So if we save and then we compile and then we run our program, get 3.140. We can do that. If we press enter, as you can see, we get this output, formatted output. Okay, so for doubles we use the LF. Okay, so for doubles, for instance, if we had a double here, a double like that, a double like that. Okay, double pi, and here we can pass in. So for the format specifier for a double, we use the LF. Okay, LF like that. We use LF. Okay. So after doing that, then here we are accessing pi. So if we save and then we enter, we compile and then we enter 3.14. If we press enter, as you can see, we get this output. Okay, so we get that output correctly. Okay, so let us take a look at how we can read a character. So to read a single character, we use the percentage C. Okay, so for example, here we can get we can name this one to be grade. Can give it to be a grade. So the grade is going to be a character, and we name it grade. Then right here we want to enter the grade. So we enter the grade. Then here we want to access the location, the memory location of the grade, and here we use the directive. We use percentage C, which is the directive, the format specifier that we want to use. Then here it is a character. Then here we are accessing grade. Okay, like that. So if we save and then we come here and we compile, let us wait, we use GCC, then we run our program. Then here we want to enter grade A. Then here, as you can see, we get A out. Okay, so we get it like that. So we should we put a space, okay, before this one. Okay, to ignore we can put a space, okay, before this this one here, before this one here. Okay, so this one here, we can put a space there, and this one help us to ignore any leftover, okay, or any leftover new line, okay, characters. Okay, so just know, okay, you can just leave a space, and if we compile like that and we do like that and then we enter A, as you can see, it remains the same. Okay, we get the same. Okay, so for instance, if we had here a new line, okay, like this, like that, and then we don't have here something like that, and we save, we compile, run, we enter A, as you can see, so it remains the same. Okay, even if you leave some gaps here, you save, you compile, and then you wait a little bit, and then you run, we enter A, as you can see, we get the same output. Okay, so let us now take a look at how we can read strings. Okay, so to read strings we use the percentage S, okay, which is the format specifier that we use, percentage S, and the string in C is an array of characters. Okay, so for example, so here we can have our our character, so it is an array of characters. Okay, so the characters, it can be less than 20 characters. Okay, let us give it less than 20 characters. We can even leave out and we don't specify. Okay, so here if we specify 20, the maximum is 19 characters. Okay, okay, plus a null terminator. Okay, a null terminator, but we shall see that. Okay, but just know the maximum is now 19. Okay, so here you can now come right here and then we put, so here we're using %s, so we should change this one. We are using a string. Then we can come here and here you should note that for strings, okay, we usually don't use access like the address. Okay, the address, we don't use the percentage. Okay, we don't use percentage. Okay, you just come here and then you write the variable like that. Okay, so after doing that, we can come even here and then we use name like that. So if we save and then we refresh, we compile, let us wait. So after compiling, we run and we enter. The name is Rashid. As you can see, we get the output. Okay, so for strings, no ampersand needed. Okay, so you should note that. Okay, the ampersand is not needed. Okay, so for multi-word input, okay, so for instance, okay, if we run the program again and we enter two names, okay, Rashid, Omar, like that, as you can see, we are now outputting one name. Okay, one name. Okay, as you can see. So for multi-word input, we need another function like the fgets. Okay, function. Okay, so let me show you how we can use the fgets function. Okay, so let us see here. So we can use the fgets function, but before I show you how we can use the fgets function, let us see how we can read multiple values at once. Okay, so you can read multiple values, okay, in a single scanf call. Okay, so for instance, we can get this one. So for example, if we had here for example, let me change this one to be an integer a, and this one let me name it b, like that, and then here can have that one. Then here we can come here, and then instead of reading only one, we can come here. So for one, we just specify like that. Okay, we just put the variable, the ampersand, okay, the location, okay, the memory location of that variable, like that. Okay, so here we can come here and then we specify another one. Okay, instead of putting a comma, we just come here and then we put another ampersand d, that this one is going to contain the memory location. Okay, we are pointing to this to a memory location of an integer. Okay, that's why we are using these format specifiers. Okay, so we can come here and then we put another comma and then we put this one is going to be b. Okay, it's going to be b, like that. And after doing that, so I'm getting it's okay. So after doing that, we can come here and then we output the information. So we can come here and then we add. Let us add. Okay, let us come here and then we add. So this one is going to be sum, and the sum is going to be a plus b, like that. Then after there, we are going to come here and we output our sum, like that. So if we save and then we come here and then we compile and then we run, as you can see, we get 2 and then 2 space, let us add 3. Let us add 2 and then we add 3. As you can see, we get 5. Okay, the sum is 5. Okay, so let us look at safer input with fgets. Okay, so as we saw, scanf. Okay, scanf, when we are scanning for a string, we cannot read spaces in strings. Okay, we cannot read spaces. Okay, so as we saw. Okay, so for safer input, we use the fgets. Okay, so the fgets, we use it like this. Okay, so you need to know that the fgets reads until the user, okay, presses enter. Okay, it's safer because it prevents buffer overflows. Okay, so for instance, we can use the fgets like this. Okay, so for instance, if we had here, let me come here and then I delete this one. So let us put a char. So this one is going to be a character. or an array of a name, okay, name, and then it is going to be 50. Okay, the maximum is going to be 50, and from there we are going to come here and we enter the full name. Okay, the full name. Okay, so here we are going to get to the new line. Then here we are going to specify. So instead of using the scanf, what we are going to do, we are going to call the fgets. Okay, fgets function like this, and as you can see here, it takes in the, let us take in, it is going to take in like the variable name. Okay, the variable which is full name. Okay, then after there it is going to get the size. Okay, we need to get the size of the full name. Okay, so the size, we can specify that it is 50, but here we want, let us be consistent, and then we get the size of, then here we specify full name. Okay, the size of this variable, we use this size of function to get the size of this we use the size of function to get the size of this variable. Okay, which is full name. We specify it like that. Then from there we use the standard input. Okay, it is like it specifies that we want to import. Okay, we use the std in standard input. That one is like it specifies. Okay, here we are specifying that we want to import. Okay, to input data. Then after there we are going to this one reads a line. Okay, includes spaces. Okay, this one. Okay, so after doing that, what are we going to do else? We are going to output our name, so we don't need this sum. Okay, so after doing that, then we come here and then we specify want to access full name. Then here we can come and then we use the string like that. So if we save and then we compile our program and then we run, as you can see, full name, we get Rashid Omar like that. So as you can see, we get all. Okay, we get all our names. Okay, there. Okay, so we get that one. Okay, so the common mistakes are you need to remember the ampersand in the scanf. Okay, for numbers. Okay, you need to remember that. Okay, and when using the wrong format specifier, you should not use the wrong format specifiers. Okay, you should consider using the right format specifiers, guys. You should consider using it. Okay, so but I encourage you using the fgets more than using the scanf. Okay.